With obstruction on the mountain path, Guanshan Tzu Chi Hospital still carried out their IDS mobile clinic for remote villagers. We meet a vision and hearing impaired young man with Down syndrome who dreams of becoming a social worker to help the elderly. Welcome to DaAi Headlines. I'm Mary Shioda. Thank you for joining us. In Taiwan, despite the heavy rain which damaged the Southern Cross Island Highway, Guanshan Tzu Chi Hospital still carried out its IDS mobile clinics to treat people of the Ulu tribe and Lidao village. On the way, they came upon a car accident and stopped to offer their services before heading back on their way to deliver much-needed medicine for the villagers of Lidao.
On October 11th, there was a car accident near the Xiaoma tribe on the Southern Cross Island Highway. Dr. Zhang Zifang of Guanshan Tzu Chi Hospital happened to be treating people in Ulu tribe. Upon hearing about the accident, he and others went to the scene to help.
When we went down the mountain, we saw an ambulance treating one injured person. About 50 meters away was the other patient, so we went there to see his condition.
After Guanshan Tzu Chi Hospital accepted IDS mobile medical treatment in 2010, the medical team and the villagers have become more like family members. And the tiny medical boxes contain the medicine for the villagers of Ulu and Lidao.
One patient needed certain medicine, so the head of Lidao village contacted us and gave us the patient's name. We prepared the medications and put them at the police office. When the village head went to the police office, he could bring the medications back and give them to the person.
The doctors are nice, as they come up once a week. It's very nice.
As villagers in remote areas do not have sufficient medical resources, natural disasters can isolate them every time. Despite road collapses, Guanshan Tzu Chi Hospital still goes there twice a week to give these villagers the medical care they need.
Staying in Taiwan, in Taipei's Wanhua district, a family's fourth-floor home was destroyed in a fire caused by a gas explosion in late September. The disaster resulted in the hospitalization of the homeowner and 5 firemen. Tzu Chi volunteers have been doing everything they can to look after the family during this difficult time. We'll now visit the ruined home to see how volunteers and members of the community are working together to clean up after the fire.
After the gas explosion in late September, everything in this home was destroyed. Volunteers are still doing what they can to help out the family, cleaning up and uncovering memories as they work. Although the homeowner was not present, his children were there to help volunteers. Despite being depressed upon returning to the house, their mood improved bit by bit as the work was done.
It's not just about helping us financially, you are giving us strength. I'm thankful for all of your help through this difficult time.
Moving out the ruined furniture from the 4th floor space is hard work. The neighbors bring tools to assist removing the larger items. Tzu Chi volunteers aren't the only ones helping with the cleanup. Some neighbors are also there to lend support to their neighbors after the disaster.
It feels like it's a little better, a little cleaner. It's great to see the place cleaned up. I feel good.
This is the first time that the local borough head has ever worked with Tzu Chi. He is surprised at the efficiency and sincerity of the volunteers.
You all are really hard workers. You have everything covered. It's great. Thank you so much. Things would be a lot more difficult if we didn't have your help.
For the Lin family, they know that with Tzu Chi, they are not alone and that they can face the days ahead with courage.
Next, we'll see how TIMA groups in Australia have been offering dental services to low-income and immigrant families. We'll visit a recent free clinic in Perth where a physical therapist was also on site to help ease aches and pains. But first, let's check out a large dental free clinic held in Sydney.
These volunteers are preparing the site for a free TIMA dental clinic in Sydney, Australia. They set up room dividers to provide people with a bit of privacy during their treatment.
And I started volunteering for TIMA in 2012 and then again in 2016. And I do this because I'd love to help out my local community.
We both love volunteering because it's an opportunity to give back to the community, and TIMA is really great in organising this.
This community, which is near a youth centre, is in serious need of dental service. For some, this is the first time they have ever had a dental check. Some participants were eager to take the opportunity to have a dentist pull some bad teeth.
The dentist who informed me when I asked him, he said he comes 5 hours from Sydney driving to come to this place. We should be all happy, and people like John and people like yourself.
This young girl took the opportunity to donate a little money to feel the joy of helping others.
When it's filled up, you can just call us and we come and take from you. And we can help a lot of people.
Volunteers in Australia are hard at work spreading love and helping those in need. Meanwhile, in Perth, the TIMA chapter normally holds only dental clinics, but at the most recent event, physical therapy was also added to the list of available services. This is Stella Peter, a physical therapist from Myanmar with lots of experience relieving bone and muscle pain of patients.
It's really great. It's really great. I never thought it would be this great. So many people and everything.
TIMA began offering dental clinics here in November 2013 with only 2 dental chairs. Now there are 20. Low-income families can come to this clinic for a variety of basic dental services. At the most recent clinic, 98 patients received treatment. Dentist Emma Perry is always delighted to see patients leave smiling.
And I'm so grateful to the Tzu Chi Foundation for making that possible. You know, I couldn't just go onto the street and go, hey, would you like some dental treatment? Would you like some dental treatment? Hop in the back of my car, you know.
TIMA clinics don't only provide medical services, they also had volunteers on hand to look after children that accompanied their parents, which brought a wholesome, lively atmosphere to the occasion.
Moving our focus to Malaysia, recently Tzu Chi volunteers from the Muar branch hosted an aid distribution at the Ladang Lanadron Tamil School for their Indian care recipients ahead of the Deepavali celebrations. Deepavali is always a festive time of year in Malaysia. Tzu Chi volunteers of the Muar branch invited students of the Happy Campus program and their parents to celebrate together.
I feel like today we are celebrating Deepavali today. Most of my students, they got their things for the Deepavali celebration.
So it's something that's very special. We have never came across such things before. So I hope the Tzu Chi Foundation will continue the effort to help the poor.
This gift packs prepared by the volunteers for the 58 Indian families came at a much-needed time.
We're very happy that it's almost Deepavali. We received so much help and now we have everything we need.
Students also put on a performance about environmental protection. With the help of their teacher, students began rehearsing for the play a month ago.
We want students to know what they are enacting on stage, so I spent about 5 days explaining and talking to them about environmental protection.
Accepting the gift packs and blessings from the volunteers, feelings of warmth are blossoming in the recipients' hearts. When household waste and industrial waste is sent for incineration, 15% of the garbage results in incinerator slag, which contains many impurities and heavy metals. Afterwards, Taiwan's EPA defines it as general waste, which requires GPS monitoring during transportation. However, after the slag is reprocessed, this material's label goes from general waste to resource-based product, which no longer requires GPS monitoring. Unfortunately, even reprocessed slag is often seen as unwanted product, leading to instances where it is dumped into fish ponds and farmlands, polluting the environment. Sometimes, even to avoid reprocessing costs, slag is illegally used to create parking lots and land backfill material.
Behind me are these piles of incinerator slag that have been reprocessed. While it is now classified as a resource product, the market hasn't been receptive, and there's no place for this material to go.
At present, we probably have 3 months of reprocessed slag resource products, but some groups have doubt about it, so there hasn't been a lot of reuse.
There's no market for reprocessed incinerator slag resources, so it continues to accumulate, with some reprocessing companies running out of space to store it and potentially forced to take a risk. This is a farm field in Taichung's Qingshui that has been inundated with incinerator slag. On my left-hand side is a parking lot where a company legally applied to process the slag, but then buried 10,000 tons without reprocessing it.
When the slag resource products can be used and the slag material keeps coming in, some unscrupulous reprocessing companies will say that slag has already been reprocessed, and then they deliver unprocessed slag for backfill for this parking lot.
Slag mixed with sand and gravel has entered into agricultural areas, but what is more troublesome is that some reprocessing companies, which receive money to do the work, simply disposed of it in fish ponds and farmland without processing it. Illegal disposal of the slag has simply been piled up on the roadside. A year later, we returned to the scene.
So much slag has been left here. There are more in other areas. At the moment, less than half has been dealt with.
The slag dumped in Taichung's Qingshui area covers 1 hectare of land, and you can see this large piece of iron in the shoe and plastic bag, which all indicates this untreated incinerator slag. This should have been sent to a reprocessing plant, but it was simply dumped outdoors.
We have good reason to be skeptical and say that these reprocessing companies simply just stamped a few documents and brought it over directly from the incinerator and abandoned it. Actually, much of our reprocessing industry are acting just like waste holding companies.
Taiwan has 7 EPA-certified slag reprocessing companies, but more than 4 have been fined by the EPA for secretly putting their slag on other people's land.
The industry may apply to use slag backfill at location A, but actually puts it at A, B, C. Another way of cheating is applying for use at location A, but actually the amount is 2 or 3 times what was intended.
Currently, when leaving the slag reprocessing plant to the intended place of use, there is no need to apply for a permit to make this trip. The government should have such a process in place.
Current regulations about where reprocessed slag products can be used allow companies to go online and complete the application to make a declaration. However, prior to when this application is completed, the government doesn't know where this material is being stored.
Incinerator slag is falsely reported as reprocessed resources, but they actually contain poison when put inside our soil. But when we discover these actions, their cases are only penalized by regional authorities.
With slag pollution proliferating around Taiwan, environmental groups are turning to science and technology to undertake checks.
There are 2 cameras shooting live video, one in the front of the cab and one in the back with the load.
Aside from the 2 video cameras, the truck is also outfitted with a GPS tracking device.
This is the GPS antenna which shows where the truck travels and leaves a record on this computer, no matter where it goes.
In a vehicle tracking, if there is anything abnormal, or even a pause, or even more than enough time to unload the material, we will make contact with them to learn more about this abnormal occurrence.
While careful monitoring takes place from both the source and end destination of unprocessed slag, the same is not true for reprocessed slag, which is deemed a resource and not tracked by GPS or video cameras. This is a potential loophole which leads some of the slag to be dumped.
too many variables affect these reprocessed slag products. So I think that from start to finish, the government should use GPS monitoring.
At the beginning of the year, a draft amendment to the Waste Disposal Act passed the first reading, which substantially increased the criminal penalty for dumping incinerator slag. But this may not get to the root of the problem, which is how to properly use reprocessed slag. In our next installment, we see how it is used in roads and public works.
Eighth grader Chen Peizhen lives in Taichung's Dali. She comes from a single-parent home, and her mother is a nanny. Peizhen also has a sister who is 6 years younger than her. The three have had a tough life, living on a single income. But despite these conditions, Peizhen knows she is truly blessed in life. Here is her story.
A girl is riding a bicycle in the autumn weather, welcoming the new day and what it holds for her. Eighth grader Chen Peizhen should be out enjoying her holiday, but instead she is going to the recycling station to look after planet Earth.
好特平，谢谢师姑。没有来做还是会的哈，怪怪的。对啊，就像跟师姑一样，哈哈。对呀。
This summer, she has come here every day to help. She's quite glad to help.
找佩珍就做不完了。对呀，所以佩珍很重要了哈，佩珍。重要。会吸的是铁，它不会吸的是白铁。
I come here to sort recyclables early in the morning and am energized by it.
Growing up in a single-parent family home and with her mom working as a professional nanny, Peizhen was independent at a young age.
From a young age, she has taken care of her younger sister, helping with her homework or giving her baths.
I
hope when I'm older I can help relieve my mother's burden. I hope my sister can behave better.
Enjoying helping others, Peizhen wants to be a doctor when she grows up.
I can help the sick to recover quicker.
佩珍，恭喜你！今年第几年？你自己讲，跟师伯讲。
第4年。
第4年了，哇！恭喜得奖哈！我们给他的。
We only give them a little support, but both the children and mother have gained so much wisdom in return. She has matured and grown up well.
成长了这么多。
We are really grateful they have been with us every step of the way.
对，好，他从错了，好，一直笑到。谢谢师姑啊，师伯啊，知道吗？对，妈妈要加油。对呀。
Encouraging one another, the mother and daughters don't let their impoverished conditions get them down, but instead use their love to write a more beautiful future.
Next, we meet another inspiring young man, Lu Xiwen, who suffers from Down syndrome. He has a hard time with learning as he is deaf in his left ear and has weak vision. Despite his poor health condition, he has been encouraged by his mother to learn to play the ocarina and has worked hard to attain 13th Street performer licenses. His big dream is to pay back society by helping the elderly as a social worker.
He is Lu Xiwen, who suffers from Down syndrome. Being deaf in his left ear and with weak vision, he has a hard time learning to play the ocarina.
你那个指法错了，你牙齿有没有打开？哦，没有。
Though I have a hard time practicing playing the ocarina, I'm never scared to do it.
Despite the fact that Lu has more obstacles than others in his life, he will never give up playing the ocarina. He has continued to practice for 3 years and has obtained 13 street performer licenses. Apart from simply playing the ocarina when he performs on the streets, he sometimes dances during the musical interlude to make his performance more complete. This idea came from his mother. Everything seemed normal during the pregnancy of Lu's mother. However, she discovered that her child suffered from Down syndrome after his birth. Ever since, she has overcome difficulties with love and patience.
我们只有4个人吃饭，2杯米，2杯水。那个真的是挫折感很重。
Sometimes I may feel frustrated and sometimes I may get angry and scold him with tears. However, he usually cries and touches me and says, "Mama, it's all right, I'll work harder."
摸摸我，然后跟我说：“妈妈，没关系，没关系，我会加油，我会加油。”
Lu is very considerate and kind-hearted. His dream is to become a social worker and serve the elderly after he graduates from college.
老人就是喜欢我，然后我也。
Because the seniors like me, I play the ocarina for them. This makes me feel more confident, so I want to help the elderly.
我就充满自信。 我想要帮助妈妈。
Lu has to practice dozens of times to play a song with the ocarina. However, he never gives up and has been encouraged by his mother. He feels the joy of playing the ocarina, which makes him more confident in his life.
谁第1名啊？
喜欢。
谁最厉害？
喜欢。
In preparation for the upcoming Tzu Chi year-end blessing ceremonies, volunteers across Taiwan have gathered to assemble blessing and wisdom red envelopes and other gifts. This year's assembly saw the participation of many overseas volunteers who relished in being able to partake in such a special privilege.
Tzu Chi volunteers are listening carefully to the explanation of how blessing and wisdom red envelopes should be assembled. This year, Tzu Chi volunteer Yao Miaojuan, who has long lived in the Dominican Republic, has returned to Taiwan to assemble blessing and wisdom red envelopes.
We seldom have the chance to assemble blessings and wisdom red envelopes when we live abroad, so I was very happy to hear from a Tzu Chi sister that it's our turn to take up the responsibility this year.
Mrs. Yao's elementary classmates has also been invited by her to assemble the red envelopes, helping her develop a good relationship with Tzu Chi.
I feel great when tying the knots, as it means that everyone works together with one heart.
Chen Yuechun, who has long lived in Shanghai, receives a blessing and wisdom bag each year. After she took part in the assembling process for the first time, she realized that the bag has been made with love.
We didn't know that a blessing and wisdom bag needs so many people to complete it. Without joining in the assembly process, we didn't know how much effort was needed to make the bag.
Apart from making the blessing and wisdom bags at the Tzu Chi Xintai Liaison office, many people also complete them at their homes. The boss of a beauty shop, Zhang Shuyin, also invited many of her friends to make the bags.
动力让你这样子愿意每年啊，你做10几年啊，你等于都要接回来走。
我从来没有想到这种问题哎。
Volunteers are working hard to assemble the red envelopes and bags embedded with their good wishes on behalf of Tzu Chi, spreading love and blessings all around the world.
To teach kindergartners how to create less trash in their daily lives, the school brought the students to the Xichao recycling station to learn how to reduce, recycle, and reuse. Through various activities at the recycling station, the children soon realized it was easy to be kind to Mother Earth. That's all the time we have for today. Thank you for joining us. Goodbye.